So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The NEC of the ANC has set, deliberated, and formulated a strategy on how to approach this coalition phase of the ANC. It's very important that we listen carefully to what the president said after the NEC meeting, addressing the members of the media. There's some things that I got from his body language, his facial expression, and his voice tone. And also, there are, I believe, some things that he said, but he did not say in words. So that's very important for us to look at the man and hear and read beyond, in between the lines, so that we can get a clue as to which direction the ANC is going to go. Let's discuss that and much more.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I'm your host, King053, Mr. Easy Imali Eneng, and we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, we're covering the feedback from the president, South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa, after that long NEC meeting. It's past 12. And I waited for the president to come and address us because I believe that it's very important. Some of you are probably sleeping now. So in the morning when you get this, you'll get my thoughts also. Let's start with the first clip. How many clips am I breaking down for you guys? Probably 4 or 5 clips. So bear with me. I'm going to try not to be long. It's cold, so I took off my jacket so that I don't get too confident and talk the whole night. Let's listen to what the president says about hearing the voices of the South African voters, and also what he said about advancing the interest of the people.
The ANC has emerged from these elections as the largest political party in the country. We are humbled by the confidence that the people of South Africa have shown in the African National Congress. We now say, as the National Executive Committee, that we have heard the concerns of the people of South Africa. We have also heard their frustrations and recognized their aspirations. The 40% vote for the ANC is a recognition that the ANC remains a pivotal partner in the country's search for a way forward, and that there can be no solution in our country without the ANC. That in itself places a responsibility on the ANC to ensure that there is unity, stability, peace, and progress in South Africa. During the course of the discussions of the NEC, we have looked at various different scenarios for setting up government. As the ANC, with its 40% return of votes, cannot really set up government without cooperating with others.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, let me say this before I say anything else so that I don't lose this thought. The mission of killing the ANC is not over. Some of you understand what I'm saying. It's not over, it's still continuing. With what Cyril Ramaphosa is saying, with how his body language is, the voice tone, even the facial expression, I think he came out of that meeting with assurance that the ANC will keep him as the president. This will prove to be a very crucial mistake that the ANC will do. It's fine, let them do it for the unity of that party. But that party, that decision they made, I think it's going to cost them in the future. It's going to cost them. It's going to be very difficult with what Cyril Ramaphosa is saying, that we must safeguard national unity. You know, you want to unify with who? You want to be in unity with who? With the investors who have shown you over the past 5 years that they don't care about you? I mean, the same investors said, get rid of Jacob Zuma. When Cyril Ramaphosa comes, he's going to be celebrated and the economy is going to improve. It was a total lie. It was, in fact, a trap. But like I said, the mission to kill the ANC completely continues. Advance the interest of the people. Which people? Which people? Which people? Because sometimes we confuse people, as we think that he's speaking about us, the black people. No, it's not speaking about us. Advance the interest of the people. The people. you will decide who are those people. He said we are. He also said we invite other parties on a on a government of unity, of national unity. Let's listen to what he said there.
We must act with speed to safeguard national unity, peace, stability, inclusive economic growth, non-racialism, and non-sexism. We will ensure the continuation of a progressive agenda of social and economic transformation in our country. We have therefore agreed that we invite political parties to form a government of national unity as the best option to move our country forward. The modalities of the government of national unity will take into account the conditions prevailing at this moment in our country's history. The purpose of the government of national unity must be first and foremost to tackle the pressing issues that South Africans want to be addressed. These issues include job creation and the growth of our economy that will be inclusive, the high cost of living, service delivery, crime, and corruption. The NEC has agreed that this moment calls for the broadest unity of the people of South Africa. This moment also calls for multi-party cooperation and multi-stakeholder collaboration if we are to overcome the severe challenges that confront our country. From the results of these elections, it is clear that South Africans expect their leaders to work together to meet their needs. They expect us to find common ground, to overcome our differences, and to act together for the good of everyone. We are committed to ensuring that a government of national unity has the means and the ability to build an inclusive economy, to create jobs, to end corruption, to tackle crime and corruption, and to improve the provision of services to our people. In establishing a government of national unity, we would be building on a very rich history of cooperation across divides of politics and ideology. We will be drawing on an experience with which South Africans are familiar and which served our country well at a time of great difficulty and division. 30 years after the achievement of democracy in 1994, we are, as the people of South Africa, once again called upon to ensure that we collaborate and that political parties should come together to forge a common future for our country. But it is not only political parties that need to come together. We believe that there is a need for a national dialogue which brings together all parties, all social partners, and all sections of society to seek consensus on the actions required to take the country forward.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, and we have to read between the lines, because what we want to dictate actually as black people is the ANC leaning towards working with the DA. That's all we want to know actually. In fact, that's what the ANC should have said from the beginning. Black parties must not be afraid to hurt the nerves of the investors. They must not. They must just come out straight and say, listen, Tony Leon, we're not going to work with your party. You can kiss our asses goodbye for tech at the end. But anyway, they're not like me. I would have said it like that way and made the front page. But he's saying they need to unite into a party. All the parties need to unite a government of national unity. Yes, I mean, we don't have a choice. National unity is what we need, but unity of black parties. you know, we need unity of black parties. This thing of saying, of Cyril saying they must create jobs, growth, the economy, and crime. The ANC has failed over the 5 years. They have failed over the 5 years that Cyril Ramaphosa was president. I mean, when Jacob Zuma was going out and Cyril was coming in 2019, people were celebrating, like white people, black people, Indian, green, yellow, pink. Everyone was saying our country is going to be a better country. And Cyril made one mistake. He employed Andre Dareta to be the CEO of ESCOM because of the Zondo Commission that kicked out Brian Molefe. That was the first big mistake they did. So multi-parties cooperation, please let it be black people. We don't care about anything else. Let's be patriotic to our people. Number one. So and the cooperation across ideology, like 1994. Ish. When he said that, I was like, hey, let's not now compromise and work with the DA. Please, that's all for me. That's all I want to hear. I don't want to hear anything else. I just want to hear ANC, IFP. IFP is a sellout party, but anyway, it's a black party. ANC, IFP, EFF, ANC, MK, EFF, AMC, EFF, PA, I don't mind, ANC, whatever, as long as it does not have the DA. Leave the DA in the cold one more time. I'll be so happy. But then he said something about the national dialogue. This is what Thabo Mbeki told us that will happen after the election. Thabo Mbeki actually said after the elections we'll have to group everyone back and sit them down, as if Thabo Mbeki knew that the ANC was not going to get the majority, and say everyone wants to sit down and talk in this national dialogue. Oh.
Parties that need to come together. We believe that there is a need for a national dialogue which brings together all parties, all social partners, and all sections of society to seek consensus on the actions required to take the country forward. Such a national dialogue will enhance our pressing task of rebuilding social cohesion in a fractured society following a particularly toxic and divisive election campaign. With regard to the practicalities of the way forward, the NEC has benefited from a report on the preliminary engagements our task team has had with various political parties. The task team is composed of 5 national officials, except for the president and the deputy president, that is convened by the Secretary General, together with other members of both the NWC and the NEC, as well as officials who support them.
I'm one of the people that always say communication is key in a business, in a relationship, at work, wherever, friendship, whatever thing. I'm a communication person. It's how I hate it when things that affect my life happen to people that affect my life, and they don't communicate to me. Like I get annoyed even if my younger sister would buy a car without speaking to me. It annoys me, and buys a scrap. And I know with the money that she bought the car with, I could have gotten her a better car. But you know how women are. And anything, don't do anything as a person I value without consulting me. And the sickness I have is because I consult people that are close to me, especially if I feel like the decision is going to somehow impact their lives. So communication is key. National dialogue, let's have the national dialogue. I don't know how it's going to benefit the country, but in those talks, I believe some things are going to come out that show us why this national dialogue is being pushed forward. White people work with systems, and we black people, we don't replace their system. We reject their system, but don't replace it with another system, a counter system. It's very important that we start looking everything as a system. You look at everything like, why are we walking like this? Why are we talking like this? Who's in control here? There might be someone in the background. All of those things we must question. But after that, we must do what Jacob Zuma does, which we call it the political something something. You do a reaction to that in terms of another system. We create another system. The court system is there. Jacob Zuma created another system to challenge and stretch the court system. Don't just accept everything as it is. And Cyril Ramaphosa saying they have spoken to the IFP, the PA, the EFF, and all of that. I'm happy. I'm happy that he's mentioning those parties. For me, I'm happy with any of those parties. Let them work with those people. I don't know if they work with the PA. Who the hell must do a video about the PA and this Home Affairs nonsense that they are doing? But anyway, so that is very good that he's mentioning that. He says something there about he's going to work with parties that respect the Constitution. That also told me something.
We have agreed as this NEC that it is both necessary and strategic that we act in a manner that seeks to unite the broadest range of social forces and isolate those that seek to cause chaos and instability and division. As the ANC, we will be reaching out to formations across society to build a shared program for social and economic change. In the coming days, we will be convening meetings of ANC structures to discuss the conduct and outcomes of the election, the immediate priorities, as well as the way forward. As the election results emerged last week, there was a measure of fear that the outcomes would lead to fragmentation and instability. Following election that tended towards polarization, there was a measure of fear as well that South Africans would not be able to work together. There was also fear that the transformation of our society would be disrupted and that our efforts to rebuild the economy would be derailed. Yet, as this NEC has determined, the outcome of this election presents an opportunity to forge a more inclusive, cooperative, and an effective approach to governance. It presents to the people of South Africa an opportunity to bring political parties and social partners together to address the challenges that concern most South Africans.
It's so disappointing for me that the ANC, after so many years, when was the Constitution signed? 1996, 1995, no, 96, 97, somewhere there. This Constitution is really bullshit, if we're to be honest, and it's not benefiting us as black people. But the courts and the ANC have protected this constitution and upheld it as the holy script of all constitutions and everything. I think this constitution has won an award also, something like that, praised to be one of the best constitutions in the world. Yeah, such rubbish. But the reason why he's highlighting that is because they don't want to work with Mkhonto Wesizwe. He's tried to say it without saying it. That the people who don't respect the constitution, of which is Mkhonto Wesizwe, who are saying we need to change this constitution so that it can better speak to us as black people, as African people. They don't. The ANC clearly does not agree with that, and this nonsense of non-racialism, non-sexist, non-whatever. Tina, we want people who say, let's put black people first, and after putting black people first, we can consider the others. It's about time as Africans that we put ourselves first. That's what we want. At least that's what we want as Pan-Africanists. I'm not sure if that's what everyone wants. Everyone wants to include, I'm a king, let's include the colors, let's include the whites, the Indians. But when shit hits the fan, the type of lives that we are living is not the same. Our position in the race, we are always last as black people because everyone eats first. Indian people help Indian people. White people want Orania, they want white people only. Color people, they want colored people only. The colored people don't speak any of our African languages. They speak their language, which is Afrikaans, which is a Boer language. But when black people get a small plate, then they call everyone, come, let's have national unity. Everyone come, let us eat. That is the sickness that we have as African. I'm not saying other people must not eat. I'm saying let's eat first as African people. Let's develop our people, our country first. Then the rest can come. There's no Chinese that must eat before my African brother. There's no Boer that must eat before my African brother. They don't do the same with us. Treat the other people the way they treat you, man. You're gonna know, man. And he said that they will they have appointed a negotiation tax team. Let's see what they're going to negotiate and all of that. So in conclusion, the ANC looks like they won't work with the MK. Remember, they don't need the MK. The ANC is at 40%. The EFF is 9.5. They just need another small party just to get them over that 51%. But they must be careful with that because those same parties can vote against you when you're trying to pass some motions and stuff like that, passing some laws and everything. They can vote against you in parliament. Like the ANC is going to have it difficult in parliament. They must choose carefully their coalition partner going forward because it's going to be very difficult for the ANC. Whoever they choose, because if they choose the EFF, of which it looks like they will, and we will be very happy to see the EFF part of the ruling government. The EFF will turn against them in many matters in parliament, and they will have no power. I heard Cyril saying, and the coalition agreement and everything must be written down. The EFF is not going to respect that. There's other principles that the EFF is going to stand on after they get the power. It's not going to be nice. The same with the DA, the same with any party that you work with. They're going to turn because deep down, these people want the ANC out. Okay, let me go and rest. I just wanted to do this video for you guys so that when you wake up, Nitole ready. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the words of encouragement. Thank you for everything. Those who have subscribed to the channel, continue supporting the channel. Those who are members of the channel, thank you so much for your contribution of 14 rand, 20 rand, or 100 rand, 300 rand, different type of members. I think I've got like 5 or 6 members of the channel who are contributing monthly. Thank you so much. YouTube cheats us on that money, but I still am grateful for that. And also those who have supported African Mojolo with your boy King. That channel will be monetized before the end of the year, because I believe it's important for us as Africans to talk about relationships and how it affects us and how we should approach certain certain situations in an African manner. I think it's very important. Relationships are everything. And when the house is not stable, when a man can't run his household, how can he be a leader in the community? If a woman can't run her household, how can she be a leader in community? If you can manage to manage a relationship with one person, how are you going to manage the community? So yes, that's why we have created that channel. Thank you so much for everyone that subscribed at that side. You probably also, if you haven't, have to go check what we're talking about that side. Until we meet next time, don't forget to pray. After you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace in Pan-Africanism. I salute you.